Hello and welcome to Sheffield Hopcast. It's a very old Sheffield Hopcast tonight. I've had my hood up until a couple of minutes ago. I may end up putting my hood back up, so if you're watching the video of this, I may end up looking like the Grim Reaper by the end of this recording. Right, we've got a full contingent of Hopcasters tonight. We're going to do some. We don't normally do it this way around, but we've also got a guest. I'm going to talk to the guest first for reasons that will become apparent. So, good evening to Tom, who is our guest tonight. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
So, Tom, I in order to kind of set up the reason for our theme, I kind of need to ask you a little bit about your business and the beginnings of your business.
Yeah, so I set up a company called Little Mesters, which I believe is going to be the theme. We're a digital marketing agency, and the story kind of came from, it's the cheesiest story in the world, but a trip to Kellermalen Museum with my dad about 2 years ago, something like that, back when we could go to museums. And within there's a sort of section as you first go in that shows you the Little Mesters workshop, like an example of how it might have looked. And they also have a Little Mesters street or row, I think they call it row. And that kind of gave me the inspiration for the way we run our business. So I guess, do you want me to sort of paraphrase what the Little Mesters were?
Yes, please.
So again, I guess the best way of putting it was they're sort of experts in one part of a production process. So I always use the example that's probably historically not accurate, but someone who might have made the handles, for instance, someone else might make the blades of a pair of scissors. So yeah, or knives or anything like that. So each person had a specialist part. They came together to put together an expertly crafted product at the end of it. And at one point, there was hundreds of these things dotted around Sheffield, possibly centred around Kellermalen, I guess. But yeah, and that kind of gave me the idea to replicate that in the 21st century.
Brill. So we've used that as inspiration for our theme this evening, which, as ever, is a loose theme, as we do on the Hopcast, but it's centering around Sheffield Heritage. So we've let everyone kind of interpret that as they wish. Sean obviously just makes up his own theme, so we'll see what happens when we get to Sean. So Sheffield Heritage. However, we have each wanted to kind of take that as our theme. So Tom of Little Mesters, what beer have you brought along tonight?
I mean, I've gone totally on theme and gone for Little Mesters Pale. So, yeah.
You've got to explain this to us. So, is this your own
beer? No, it's not. No, it popped up about 6 months ago on my Instagram feed. And I wasn't sure if initially they were wary that I was going to be mad at them for having the same name. But if anything, I was grateful because I think it looks really cool. I think they're based up in Meadowhead or somewhere near there, and they produced a few beers so far, and this I think is the latest one. I did actually send them out as Christmas presents at work, and everyone, I think most people assumed I'd started my own brewery, which unfortunately I haven't.
So just to clarify, Little Mesters Brewery not associated with Little Mesters, Little Mesters the agency, but a very neat coincidence. So what kind of beer is it?
It's a pale. I'm just having a look now. You know what? There's minimal description of it on the can. It just literally says pale.
Little Mesters pale, and it's got some alcohol in it.
Yeah,
well,
I mean,
that's all we really want from a beer, really. Right. Okay, good stuff. So that's a good start. So, Laura, what direction have you gone in with this?
I've been a little bit cheeky because I feel like they haven't raised the Thornbridge are in Derbyshire debate for a while, so I've brought a Thornbridge beer because yes, obviously there are pubs in Sheffield. Picked there. It's the beer that they made for tramlines that obviously didn't go ahead last year. But I thought that has a really nice link to Sheffield as well, something that's really important to the city and that gets lots of kind of local businesses and things involved as well. I was going to bring Dry Pour, but that felt too cheeky, so I thought I'd bring it back to Sheffield and Lions connection. 4.5, same as Tom's. Session IPA with, this, it doesn't say what hops or anything like that are in it. Raises money for Sheffield Charities as well. So a few different ways that I've kind of brought the theme in.
Good. I like it. That's good. Right, I'm going to go next. And I've gone for... See, I'm going for modern heritage, kind of. I basically used this theme as an excuse to get the Huckster... Oh, you can't really see that because of the light there. But anyway, Huckster is back from Abbeydale, and I think this was my favourite beer of 2018, something like that. So yeah, I mean, there's heritage there because it's obviously a very traditional Sheffield brewery, been around for a long time. So I'm claiming this one as being on theme. 6%. You'll remember me and Adam going on and on and on and on about Huckster when it first came out. This is the Huckster Cryo version. So look at it, brilliant walking into a beer shop and seeing it sat there. Right, okay, Sean, what is your Sheffield Heritage beer?
Well, I did pick up that there was a theme for this week. There are 2 words to the theme, but I only saw one of those words. And so the word I saw was heritage. And so I didn't realise, apologies Tom, that there was a Sheffield element to this. So thinking very loosely, I think this beer was probably given to me in Sheffield by the brewer. And so I think that's how we link it back to the Steel City. But I've gone for a beer called Rasputin, and it's an Imperial Russian Stout, 7.4%. It's a limited edition, barrel aged. Its best before is December 2018. The reason I picked this beer is that I did see that there was a theme, but still forgot to bring a beer home that might have been deemed heritage. So I've raided my heritage beer box in the dark cellar, and I've come out with this because it's brewed by Rat Brewery up at Huddersfield, who are owned by Ossett Brewery. And in my eye, if I take my drinking back to my heritage days, perhaps this is post-supping fizzy lagers when I was in my early 20s. But if I go back to my own personal heritage beer days, the starting point of my beer, Ossett Brewery and Fernandez Brewery, who are all part of the same group as Rat Brewery, they were at the very centre of it. I used to love Ossett beers and Fernandez Pales particularly. If I went to any beer festivals and Ossett, things like Silver King and Fernandez did a brilliant range of hoppy pales, I always went for them. And so they were, in my eye, one of the breweries that started sort of really getting involved in hops, particularly as part of the more modern sort of beer scene. And so, but I still give a nice little nod to Ossett as a bit of a heritage brewer. They've not been around for hundreds of years, but certainly they were at the start of the sort of modern wave of UK beers, particularly. So I've not opened it yet. It's got a brilliant Rasputin, a dark label on the front with the Mad Russian on the front of it. And I'm hoping for big things. The aroma is absolutely fantastic just on opening the bottle. And it's also a heritage style. It's a sort of Imperial Russian Stout. And I thought that also fitted the heritage theme in that I always think of that type of brew because they were obviously quite historic.
All right, we're going to let you have that one, Sean. You can have that.
I thought if I talked long enough, you would be bored to death with it.
Which
one of those 5 breweries is it then that you mentioned? Is it
it's Rat. So this was brewed by Rat Brewery, and I should say I think this was given to me in Sheffield by the brewer Paul at Rat and Ossett. Paul Spencer was an absolutely lovely, fantastic fella. And I can only think that I got this beer as a result of him visiting our shop and handing it over as a gift. I've not tasted it yet, but the aroma is absolutely stunning.
Am I right in thinking that Salt is under Ossett's ownership as well? That's not,
Saltaire, isn't it?
No, I don't think it is.
No,
I think it was
no. Salt are in Saltaire, but not linked to Saltaire Brewery.
Oh, I thought they were.
Laura,
Yeah.
I think Salt are linked to a brewery equipment developer. Would that be right?
They are. I thought they were Ossett as well.
Yeah.
They were. I thought
Yeah,
they were.
but they're not.
Well, I didn't think they were Ossett.
We are not connected. But
No, it would make sense as well. As they're in the old venue of the Hop, which is also in association with.
Yeah. I also didn't think that, so we would have to dig deeper on that front. I thought a lot of the funding to get Salt had come from the people who installed all the brewing equipment. They've got a stunning brewing setup there, and I thought it had come from that, but I didn't think Ossett were involved. But the beer is outstanding, as you'd expect. Lots of dark raisins, a real aroma from the barrel aging on it. It's phenomenal.
It's funny.
I over Christmas went down a real barrel aged rabbit hole and had absolutely loads of barrel aged beers. Couldn't get enough of them, and I'm just trying to wean myself off now. But you are making me really want that beer, Sean.
What a great rabbit hole to go down.
We're really
of Christmas rabbit holes to go down. I mean, that's one of the better ones. Adam, we've not talked about your beer
right,
yet.
Yeah. Well, I was going to wait until everyone had shown their cards because I had a couple of options. One of them, you've made my mind up already, James, because you've gone for an Abbeydale one. But I will give it a shout out because 15 years ago when I moved to Sheffield, I used to live up in Fulwood, and the Rising Sun was my local pub. And we've had a moonshine special and stuff. But back when I was getting into beers back then, I always waited around for about November time when there were a special came out, which is actually part of Core Range now. But Deception, that wasn't a beer that was out all the time. And this was one of the first kind of beers which I thought that's got that really kind of new world hop kind of flavour that you were getting from like a kind of a classic brewery. So big shout out to that. So I will have that later on. But you made my mind up. So even more. Probably more obvious. I'm surprised no one's gone for it. Around the similar sort of time, I was drinking Kellam Island Brewery beers. So obviously the classic Pale Rider, 5.2%, sort of a strong pale really. And also got some glassware, which so obviously they're based in Kellam Island, not far away from where Tom's has been talking. Well, probably an actual stone's throw away from the museum, aren't they? I also had my 30th birthday upstairs at the Fat Cat, which kind of put all their beers on. And I thought I'd use my AdFest 2012 glass.
Oh yeah.
It's only a sticker, but this has lasted 9 years, and it's like I put it on yesterday. So yeah,
we've had this before, haven't we? Didn't we have an episode where we all had to bring our own glass, and you brought?
Yeah, I think Alex from Tramlines. I think he's got one of these because I got a weird reminder on Facebook, but like years on.
Was it the Tramlines episode and you left it in the office? Is that how it?
I think it might have been. Yeah. So yeah, just a proper pint glass, like just straight sided, as straight as they come. But yeah, my brother-in-law did a lot of these stickers for my 30th, and we had this like mini festival upstairs at the Fat Cat. And honestly, whoever makes these stickers, I need to find out because they are waterproof as anything. So yeah, I've not had Pale Rider in a while really, but I've definitely not had it in cans since I started canning it. So. This is a completely new experience for me.
It will be interesting to see how it compares. I've had it many times out of those like 4-pint jugs you get. Like whenever it's been Tramlines and you go to the Fat Cat and you're like, I'll just buy a plastic 4-pint container. It's much easier. And same back in the days when bonfires were allowed. And obviously the annual bonfire at the Fat Cat was one of the main like events in the calendar every year. Yeah. And that was the same whereby you'd buy the 4-pinters because it was just so much easier than trying to get to the bar.
It's a brewery that we very rarely even talk about at all. I think we have done one of their beers on an earlier show. I think we might have done Easy Rider. But Sean, Laura, you've probably got more kind of a better story to tell. But they're probably pretty much at the forefront of like the changing the beer scene in Sheffield, if not even nationally, to some degree.
You're right, and that makes a choice actually. Fair play. It is an excellent choice.
I think I might have committed a
cardinal
sin by not bringing glassware.
Did you get the can?
I've left my glass downstairs.
Go on, nip off quick.
I don't know how I feel about this. This is a real break from procedure. So this is good then. So we're all drinking it in our own way, Sheffield-ish heritage beer, which is good because I think sometimes we, particularly since we've been doing the remote version of this, we don't necessarily do as many Sheffield beers as maybe we would do when we'd be kind of doing the in-person stuff. So I think that's really, really good, and I'm pleased we're doing that. Although Adam, kind of reminiscing about the Tramlines episode, it has got me reminiscing about recording episodes when we'd all be sat around the same table, which feels like an absolute age ago now. I'm hoping we might get a chance during the summer maybe to do a socially distanced episode in a park or something.
James, I don't think we've actually seen each other yet, have we? Face to face. Since lockdown. I don't think we have. I've seen Laura. I've seen Sean. I don't think I have.
Yeah,
I dropped some off at your house, but I never saw you. Yeah, coming to
you're right. I don't think we did.
I can confirm, by the way, that due to the wonders of modern technology, I have just checked, and you're right. Osset are the brewery behind Salt, and so a new venture for them. Am I right in thinking also that Little Mesters, is there a Little Mesters cheese company as well?
I think there is. There's
down near it's where Depot Bakery is. So I think they do it in there. You know, down where Peddler is essentially.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When I went to set it up, obviously did searches. And there are various things in Sheffield. There's a nursery. There's all sorts that are called either Mesters or some sort of variants of it. There's various office places as well that are called like Mesters Workshops or Mesters Place as well. So it's becoming a bit more common.
And is it exclusive to Sheffield, Tom? Does that sort of phrase and term only used heritage-wise here in Sheffield, or does it have a UK-wide or worldwide sort of element to it?
So I mean, I'm really worried that some sort of historian might listen to this and tell me I'm wrong. But as far as I can gather, Mester is just a Sheffield pronunciation of the word master that has just found itself into spelling. I couldn't really find.
Feels like a Sheffield word, doesn't it?
Some people kept saying it's pronounced Meister, but that's more Game of Thronesy to me than anything else.
Yeah.
So I say Mester, and then on my website I was quick to point out that I hadn't spelt master wrong, and I was aware it had an E in it. But I believe it's Sheffield based. Yeah.
I think it's definitely local. I remember it from being in Rotherham and stuff. But I think like that Mester over there is.
That's what I was just going to say.
Like,
go and say thank you to that kind Mester, that kind of thing. Like it's definitely It must be a very kind of South Yorkshire phrase. That it must be. Because I'm not sure anyone else will particularly understand it. Interesting. The Peddler came up there in discussions because there's now a new bottle shop that's opened within the Peddler complex, that Burton Road building called Spring Yard, which opened this week, which is interesting. So it's interesting to see that place is still opening, kind of in face of everything that's sort of going on. Sean, how is the lockdown beer bottle trade?
Yeah, it's good. It is good. Yeah, there's before I come on to that, perhaps there's also announced yesterday a new one in Hillsborough. Going to be up in Nick from Walkley Beer Co, who I think have had to close again with the various restrictions. I think he announced yesterday. Pagonia, is it Pagonia?
Pangolin.
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 I looked it up. It's
Pangolin.
an animal that looks like one of those like shrew kind of things. It actually looks like a bit like its back's made out of a big hop. So I wonder if that's kind of some influence. I'll find out, but I wonder if that's the.
Looks like a shrew.
It's got that kind of
I
like.
don't know what a shrew looks like. Looking like a shrew.
It's kind of got like a kind of. It's hard to explain. It's like its body looks like sort of like a pine cone. It's got that kind of scaled kind of. P-A-N-G-O-I.
Pangolin.
As a Hillsborough resident, though, it's been a long time coming now. I mean, I've been here for 4 years almost now, and we've got the green shop obviously, but I'm assuming it might have some sort of sit down section to it when it opens, as far as I can tell. So, and with it next door to Orangeburg Kitchen, I think it's Hillsborough starting to get a few more of the things that maybe Walkley and Crooks have had for a number of years. So
there's a crossroad. There's a deli across the road. I think is it Molly's or something. That'd be quite good as well. So becoming a nice little corner at the bottom of the street essentially. Yeah.
Adam, your description of the little shrew and everything else reminded me of Winter Watch last week, and I thought that next week if anyone's watching from Winter Watch, watches the podcast, you might have a chance there. I could see you in the Welsh valleys, describing everything that walks by as a little shrew, a little
I'm trying
shrewy
to think
little
of
thing.
there's another animal.
Little shrew.
Does that look like a
Little
hop?
shrew. I'm trying to think of another word for it. It's
I know what you mean, though.
They've got one at Yorkshire Wildlife Park that just runs around in a circle, like it's kind of got like a weird. Yeah,
This gets even crazier.
They also look.
So can we make
not shrew.
You know, like when you get off the plane and you're waiting for your luggage to come, and those conveyor belt things that go around,
Armadillo.
they've got like the slats that overlap each other, so that
Yeah.
they can kind of move
Yeah.
around and stuff. They also look a little
James,
bit like that.
it is. You're right, armadillo. It is. You're right. It is. It is armadillo.
Is it a bit of a coronavirus joke maybe as well? Because isn't that meant to be the thing that started the spread?
Possibly, yeah. It's between that and a bat that I think are like head to head for who it was that that it spread from humans for, because I think they are considered. Are they like a delicacy somewhere, or they're thought to have magical powers or something? So, in some kind of Far Eastern countries, they do get eaten as and poached, and I think they're a bit of a rare species in some parts of the world.
There is also meant to be
Right, so-
something else opening in Hillsborough. Actually, there's like an application for a license a bit further down for another pub, sort of bar. So you might be getting two in the space of a very short amount of time.
We've had a very local show.
in terms of
only 20 minutes in, and
Yeah.
got straight
All
in
in
Sheffield. Apart from
In terms of answering your question, James, right at the start there, it probably is a good time to open a beer shop, to be honest. Now will be the time. So, yeah, things continue to be busy. Deliveries, mail order, and there's certainly plenty of people still about collecting in the shop and buying from the shop, all done nice and sort of safely. Not many people about in the city centre, so it does give you a lot more confidence that things are safer there. But thankfully we have people that will reserve beers and come and collect them in the shop for less than a minute, and away they go, and some collecting and come into the loading bay, so we can do all that contactless as well. So we're managing to find a way to make it all work, so it's all good at the moment.
Which is good. I've got to say, from a beer point of view, there's probably never been so much choice in terms of places to kind of get beers from to have at home, because there's so many pubs obviously that are doing kind of takeaway stuff as well, and
so many breweries doing direct as well. So
like it's not difficult, is it? It kind of like, I remember at the start of the first lockdown when we spoke to Simon from Beers Without Frontiers, and he was saying it's a little bit difficult for them to find beer and stuff, and that feels like a long time ago now, where we were thinking, we're quite fortunate in Sheffield because we've got quite a few places. Like I imagine everywhere now is just kind of like a wash.
Simon now gets plenty of his beers from Sheffield as a very valuable mail order customer of ours. So that was good to meet up and chat with him in the spring, because he's one of our beer savers now, so it's good. He's enjoying himself.
I don't know if I've actually this question, Sean.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam.
Go on, it's all right. You probably asked the same thing.
Go
Go on.
I was going to ask the question as to why you never decided to go down the route of having like a proper e-commerce website for Beer Central.
Yeah, we did. We paid for one, in fact, but we decided that I always say that we're rather arty-fartily. We're a post-website business.
I love that.
I like the idea. I've always been a bit of a control freak, and which is a pain in the arse, really. But I like the idea that we can visit our customers rather than within the online world. We can visit our customers rather than customers visit us, if you get me drift. Rather than have a website that sits there and waits for people to go to it, we use social media to go to our customers. So if Adam is sat on the bog at 7 a.m, I can speak to him. James, if you're at your radio place at 5 a.m, my posts on social media and so on visit you, and so we like to take that opposite. I've always been a sort of against the crowd type of people. If everybody else is doing that thing, I often try and perhaps look at doing the other thing. And so in our particular world at the moment, we do the other thing. And so we control what we sell online. Obviously, we've got the shop. Often, James, as well, the problem was that we sold so quickly things in the shop that linking that into e-commerce was quite difficult. And so that's why we paid for a website right at the start, loaded all our beers onto it, but then struggled to link our shop sales, which were incredibly busy because we opened 4 weeks before Christmas, to our website sales. So we scrapped it and decided to do it in a different way. So we're not unique in that now. There's a few other businesses do something very similar, but it works brilliantly for us, and we create a closer bond with our customer. So rather than the customer visiting a website that just gives them an order number and then the customer sits and waits, we're in constant communication with our customers in terms of pricing boxes, speaking to them, which just wouldn't normally happen. We're constantly there alongside our customers in our social media world. So it works nicely. Yeah, we enjoy it, and customers seem to enjoy it as well. So there's not much point in changing things, really.
It's funny you say that, actually, because having that kind of actual human control over it would have probably helped a problem I've had in the last week, where I've not. It's like the last two things I've ordered online, beer-wise, have both gone wrong. One wasn't their fault, one was a delivery issue, but this one, I'm not going to name any names, but essentially I'm chasing it up saying, where is it? And they've gone, oh yeah, we had a bit. We made a few mistakes on that. We can't supply them. It's like, you're thinking of letting me know, or so yeah. So you can have some of this instead. But yeah, I mean, putting a good offer out online and then taking too many orders
Not
is
delivering.
something that you probably would have picked up on, thinking, do you know what? 300 people wanted that beer, and I know I've only got I've only got 50 of them. So having that kind of human control. I know there's the opposite. There's the opposite. There's benefits in the opposite way, but in terms of how you're operating, that probably would never happen.
We become. This sounds very, very cheesy, but honestly, I don't mean it to be. But in almost every case, certainly in that online sort of sphere, and certainly face to face, but we're talking about online, we become friends of our customers, and so I can see our customers going out on a walk in Carlisle, or I can see them up in. We have one customer who reserves beers when he's on a ship out in the North Sea and can't have a drink, and he lives in Aberdeenshire. He's involved in exploration at sea, and so we know who they are, what the jobs are. We have a customer who I need to organise a box for this coming week, who was saving beers with us in Afghanistan while she was on her last post of duty there. So she was over there reserving your beers with us, and we had them delivered to her when she got back to the UK. So we get really close to the customer and become friends with the customer, basically. And so we do really enjoy that side of the online thing, rather than them just being an order number that we put a nice written note in the box. We're there with the customers all the time, so that's proven to be very successful in how it all works.
The question I was going to ask before I know it's like we're interviewing you, Sean, this, isn't it? But
Yeah.
In the nicest possible way, when I found out people like Steve from Beer O'Clock and stuff were like customers of yours, there was an actual. I see you more of an actual shop. It kind of puzzled me a little bit at first, thinking, why have they going to Sheffield or to Sean particularly when they've probably got something a lot closer, and Simon, and then obviously you've got websites that you can just buy off, with a click, where you do it kind of more like, you messaging and stuff. And maybe it is that personal kind of touch that, you feel, that value from it.
Loyalty.
Loyalty.
Loyalty to friends. I think people feel loyal to friends and like to continue things that go well for them, and we have a good record of getting beer to us customers successfully. So that it brings a little bit of loyalty as well into it. And so we try not to fall out with anyone, Adam.
Yorkshire charm, isn't it?
I don't mind falling out with you now and
Yorkshire
again.
charm, isn't it, Sean? Sorry.
Yeah, we even deal with Wednesday fans. I mean, we've we're happy to speak to everybody.
Every episode now you're bringing up football because Barnsley have won a couple. Pipe down.
8 o'clock. I noticed that you were wanting to get finished early, James. Are you watching the match tonight, or are you up early
I am
tomorrow
up
morning?
early tomorrow, so
How's
I'm
tonight going to
not
play
going to
out?
be watching it. But thankfully,
I can tell you the score if you want. It's 4-0. It's finished 4-0.
We are in numbers tonight because
Everton.
Tom is also within the Wednesday,
Oh.
so you are firmly outnumbered tonight, Sean. So, Tom, obviously we're nearly a year into all this kind of COVID nonsense and everything. But what's your kind of beery experience over lockdown and everything been? I know things have been weird for you because you've been setting up a business, and of course, you had your daughter was born as well, not long before kind of all this stuff started kicking off. So where have you kind of been in terms of opening a business that's based down at Kelham Island, where there's loads of great pubs and none of them are open?
Oh, it's been on and off, really, hasn't it? So I had a brief spell where I could get to some of them. So Fat Cat, to be honest with you, was basically next door to where I was working at the time. So if I was going to go for a beer, it was more than often there. And yeah, obviously we've moved into another office. It's still in Kelham Island, so we're kind of it should have been take your pick really of where you want to go for after work beer or whatever. But unfortunately, for a majority of the time, I've just not been able to do that. I've always kind of ordered online anyway at various places. I've shopped with Sean before. He won't recognise me, no way. But
I do, Tom. Wow. Actually, yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's to everyone. To everyone.
I tried to spread the love, if that makes sense. So Hop Hideout, bar stewards. Bar stewards I would often pick up beers from after work because they were nearby, as well. And then online orders, really. A combination of the locals. I've kind of stuck to Abbeydale. And what are we calling Thornbridge local? It is local.
Yeah. We've played them.
I've driven out to Bradfield a number of times to fill up my jug. And yeah, it's just been a bit different, really, hasn't it? I think my actual local here is the Horse and Jockey, which is a Stansel pub. So
Very close to me then, Tom.
Say again, sorry.
You're very close to me then.
Yeah, I think we are relatively close, aren't we? But you'll know as well as I do then that Hillsborough isn't exactly flushed with what's the polite word to use? Nice pubs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's been a bit different. I'd much prefer to be out somewhere drinking a pint, but we've made it work, really.
Yeah, fair dues. And what's your kind of beer style of choice?
Do you know what's really funny is that I've always strayed away from like porters and stouts. I found myself in a similarly not a barrel age, but over Christmas, I had quite a few either as gifts or in like packs, and I found myself thinking, I've ridiculously avoided these for a long time. I actually really like them. So I've started to drink a few more of those recently, but normally I'm a standard issue IPA person, really. I do quite like Farmer's Blonde. Bit of a weak spot for that one.
It's good to know that someone else went down the stout rabbit hole, as we shall call it.
More like a voyage of discovery, really.
I need to find this rabbit hole that's just full of stouts and just stick my jug in.
Very dark. That's all I'll say. It's very dark. And once you're in it, it's quite difficult to get out.
I have to say, I think my beer of lockdown though was Abbeydale Voyager, which people don't really seem to talk about, but I think it's brilliant.
Yeah,
well, it depends which iteration, doesn't it? Because there's been a few, but yeah, that's kind of good. Anyone else had anything good over the last kind of 2-3 weeks since we last recorded that they want to?
I did pick up a cryo huckster actually. The last can in Green Shop actually. I went for a run with a friend and we picked up a beer after, and I literally drunk it on my walk.
During.
Yeah, I find in some of my runs at the minute of just finishing at the Green Shop, just to sometimes for a coffee, but if it's in the evening, pick up a can.
I love that. If you see a guy running around Sheffield with a can of beer that he's swigging out of rather than a water bottle,
I did have the Neeps End. I'm gonna have to help Sean. You have to help me out here. It's actually a G. It's a 9%.
I had it last night actually.
Gog
yeah.
Wog or something.
Gog my dog. Gog my dog.
Yeah.
Gogma Dog. I had it last
Me
night,
too,
Adam.
actually.
Really, absolutely superb. Yeah, loved
So
it.
it's if I remember, it's a vanilla cocoa tonka.
Tonka.
Yeah.
It's Tonka. It's really soft Tonka on it. You get Tonka up front, but it doesn't overpower it. Just really delicious
And then
beer.
Christmas
Yeah,
2021,
loved
I'm
it.
going to aim to go down a Tonka hole. I think they're the holes to go down, aren't they?
Laura, if she was here, would love this. Because she's a massive fan of Tonka. She was the Tonka trip to Indyman is a legendary trip from
I
some
want to
years
give a little
ago.
shout out to Hannah actually, because Hannah had some news over the last couple of months. Hannah, we've had on a couple of times, who worked at Neeps and now has got a new job up at North at Leeds.
North.
So Dirty Leeds. So she's hopefully. I've sent her a message saying if you want to drop me some off on your way back on the tweet, then I'd be more than happy. She's still living in Sheffield, so don't panic anybody. So she's not defecting to the west. But yeah, so nice.
Go on. I interrupted
No, that's
you.
all right. That was it really. Just sort of congratulations, I suppose. It's a nice move that.
The one good thing about lockdown as well, beer-wise, is that I've noticed there's been an increasing supply of Daya kicking about. Whereas, like in local shops, I mean, rather than just online. I don't know if that's a.
You're being in a bar stewards too much, I think. That's it. They're a big
They're
champions. Aren't they?
definitely everywhere, and it has totally, definitely, changed over the last kind of 6 to 9 months. The availability of stuff like that.
They've got a northern sales guy, so he has coincided with the improved access now to Daya up north. So it's a great. Is making sure Northern England gets lots of Daya now, which is fantastic.
You're right, though, Tom. I've noticed that a lot of people selling like full range of cans and stuff, and I'd always remembered Alan and Charlie talking about wanting to get like a core beer of theirs and doing drives down there to pick it up. But yeah, well, you saying, Sean, it's not always been that easy to get hold of them, has it? In any kind of significant numbers. So
it was easier before, yeah. If you were taking keg and that as well on pallets, then it was a bit easier. But they're sending out cans using couriers, and brilliant system, easy to order. And so there's no difficulty anymore there. It's nice and easy.
Cool, good stuff. Right, let's talk about our beers. Laura, how's yours?
It's really nice. I wasn't worried about it. The best before date on this beer was yesterday, especially for this episode. But it tastes it's still absolutely delicious. Still really vibrant hop character to it. Just does what it says on it. Quaffable. It's not a standout beer, but it's a drinking, tasty beer. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
If you had the option to trade it for a Tonka Stout, would you?
Buy a beer that I haven't tried it yet, but I had to buy it on the name. It's a mocha and hazelnut cream horn, 9% from Demoshler. Probably butchered the pronunciation of that. Who are a Dutch brewery, and it's called Grax the Cream Horn Gobbler. So it's not Tonkery, but it sounds really ridiculous. So I'm looking forward to drinking that.
I'm going to book that in. So this year I'm going to go down a Tonka hole at Christmas. The next year is going to be a creamed horn hole for Christmas 2022. Right, Tom. What's the Little Mesters beer like?
It's nice, actually. It's really refreshing. So yeah, it's got a good taste to it. I'd definitely get it again. Yeah, I don't know. I've just noticed on the front it says Superbia Aquilonis. I have no idea what that means.
I'm not really pushed up on my Latin.
That's Latin for Everton for Sheffield Wednesday.
Right, okay. Sean, tell us what your beer's like, because then I can mute you after that. Go on.
I need to apologise to Laura. Laura, I've not been able to see you all night. You appear in a little box, and I thought you'd gone, Laura. I didn't realise that you were still there. You're not there on my screen. It's a nightmare. So My Rasputin is easily my beer of the year. I know we're only approaching the end of January, but lovely. As a stout, less roastiness, but the age of it all now and the barrel aging beforehand, lots of lovely dark fruits, raisins, every dried fruit you can think of is in there. Truly outstanding. So thanks, Paul, if you do listen to this and did give me that beer, then I owe you one. And hello, Laura. I'll see you later.
Hi, Sean.
No, I still can't see Laura. I still can't see. I can't see you. I'll click on your name.
Huckster is exactly as I remember it. It is just so ridiculously powerfully hoppy, it's untrue. And it reminds me why I loved it so much when it first came out. So great to have it back, and long may it remain. I would just like to place that comment on record, Laura, if you want to, pass it on to anyone that's, who wanted to stay around for a while, it would be very, very welcome. And that just leaves Adam.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised, actually. I think if it wasn't for this theme, I wouldn't have picked up a can of it, and even had to kind of hunt for it a little bit. They'd had it at the green shop, but Tom will probably know, has been in there, that the ones that you can get hold of with your hands is a lot of Abbeydale and Thornbridge, but then kind of behind the counter-ish, there's some other stuff that's probably not as popular, and I had to kind of ask, have you got a can of Pale Rider in there? And so yeah, I got one, and yeah, I probably would actually go and get another one. Actually, it's like really, really quaffable, and got that really nice kind of classic hop bite to it. Yeah, really nice.
Bitterness to it.
I think.
Yeah, nice bitterness.
I don't know whether the can or bottle thing makes any difference, but I kind of didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but really enjoyed it to the point where it's disappeared, and I'm already on the deception. So yeah.
I'm on deception next as well, actually. So
yeah, really good. Yeah, I can't really fault it really. Really, really kind of classic, and dead easy to drink. No funny flavors in there. Just straight up like old school. Yeah, good.
Can I congratulate Tom there as well, if we've got time? Because I don't think that we've had a guest yet that has supped their beer straight from the can, Tom. No. You're a proper Hillsborough Wednesday lad, straight from the can. We're arty-farty with all those posh glasses, but you've shown us how to do it.
I can't take credit. I did literally leave my glass. I got my glass out ready and left it straight there. Sorry, I should have just taken the credit, but I always think I've got about 50 million different glass styles downstairs. I'm really annoyed, actually.
Brill, good stuff. Well, thank you all, and I think good beer choices all round. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another beer theme. Well, beer theme for most of us. Sean will just make up his own because that's what he does. Yeah, we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Goodbye. Are we doing our photo?
Bye.
We can't do a photo. We've got to do a photo. All right, cool. So, cans in the air. And big smiles. That'll do us. Right, bro, that's going to wrap us up. Thank you very much, and we will catch you in a couple of weeks.
Bye.